Welcome to the Princess Patchwork Skirt Design and Sew Along. Hi everyone, I'm Glenda with SureFit Designs, and I know lots of you know me as Glenda the Good Stitch. You know, typically about once a year, I usually give away a customer appreciation gift because I do appreciate all of you as my customers. And oftentimes I do that in the summertime. Our summertime, of course. I know I have worldwide followers. Well, this year I decided that since we are all sequestered at home, what better time than to give your gift now, since we will sew at home. That's a hashtag I've been using, is sew at home. And so this is a design and sew along. And I not only invite all of the SureFit Designs customers worldwide, but you know what else? I'm inviting all of the quilters out there. So oftentimes I get emails from ladies that say, you know, I've been quilting for the last 10 years and it's time to sew for me for a change, and I'm coming back to sewing. Will SureFit Designs work for me? And the answer is absolutely yes. So if any of you are quilters, today is an opportunity to join in because we're going to be using up some of your stash of quilting cottons and my stash of cottons that I purchased in the quilting department, even though I'm not a quilter. So it's going to be kind of fun to take a look at what you've got in your stash, because again, none of us can go out to the stores. Utilize your stash, see what will work, and join me in this design and sew along. So the first thing that I would like to do is talk about what the project is. It's a skirt. And in order to do the skirt, well, we'll start here. We're going to start with the dress kit, because the dress kit is, I use that word dress very loosely and liberally, because you can sew one-piece dresses, two-piece dresses, blouses, jackets, and coats, as well as skirts. So we're going to utilize just the skirt pattern in the dress kit. And then you're also going to need your designing stylus. Now again, those of you who are already SureFit Designs customers already have your designing stylus, but this is what we call the key to the system because it's got all the curves of your body on it, and we definitely use it for creating the waistline edge as well as the hip curvatures. A nice tool to have that accompanies that is called the Designer's Companion, and that has on it all the tight little tiny curves that the big stylus doesn't have on it. You're also going to need some tracing vellum. This is a transparent tracing medium. It is a paper, but I will tell you, I just get compliments all the time on this product that it is the nicest thing that has ever been used in tracing patterns and pattern work. And why? Because you can erase to your heart's content. And with that, let me also say, make sure you have your pencils and eraser. Now I've got a red pencil that will mark on the tracing vellum nicely, but it also erases. And of course, regular graphite, and don't be afraid of having a big eraser handy. We all make mistakes, and it's just so easy to erase on that tracing paper. Now, one of the things that I'm going to be doing is if I were to draw the patterns in pencil, you wouldn't be able to see anywhere nearly as well. So what I'm going to do is be using these heavy marking pens. And you know what? If I make a mistake, well, it's too late because I can't erase them. So again, make sure you've got your pencils and erasers. Another thing that you'll want to have is removable tape. And this removable tape is, again, essential for pattern drawing. It helps to tape down the patterns for security in tracing your patterns, and when you lift it up, it's not going to remove the surface of the paper. It's not going to rip it either. We carry it, I should say this, we carry it in an economical large roll like this. You need to provide the dispenser. And another tool that is really great to have is a line drafter. And this is kind of like a quilting ruler. It's 6 inches wide, 24 long, but the big difference is it has a permanently attached handle, and you're going to find this absolutely wonderful when you're lifting your ruler to be drawing on your pattern, that this handle will come in so handy in doing that. Now let's talk a little bit about the project. Yes, it's a skirt. what kind of a style? It's going to be a gored skirt. Now, I called it a princess patchwork skirt. Well, princess seam lines actually come out of the darts in the skirt pattern and they become a seam line. If we take a look at this second illustration, you can see the little dotted lines that I've got going up. Now those dotted lines represent the dart that is in the skirt pattern, both in the front and the back. So we are actually going to be drawing a design line coming out of that dart, and then the dart itself ends up being the shaping that's required to shape over top of your tummy and your hip area. So you'll see all how to do this in the design section of this Design and Sew Along. Now on this ultra suede skirt, again, because it's all one color, it's not as obvious to see the design line, but it's coming out right there. There's a design line, and it's called a gore or the princess seam, and there's the other one. Then there's the side seam, and on the back you'll see the 3 panels as well. And so that's basically the style of skirt. But what we are going to do is make it a patchwork skirt, and we're going to talk about mixing and matching some fabrics. But before I go on to the patchwork fabrics, I'd like you to take a look at this last illustration. And once you have the gores for your skirt designed, then you can take the bottom of the gore and flare it out as wide as you want to. Now, the wider you flare it out, the more you're going to want to use fabric that will drape nicely. So let's take a look at these 2 pieces of fabric over here. Now, this is a woven crepe, and it just hangs absolutely beautifully. I can just see that in a very full gored skirt, with each panel having a real wide gore on the side of it, or flip or tulip section on it, and that would just hang so beautifully in that kind of a design. This is another piece. It's a satin polyester, and it's got a tone-on-tone pattern on it, but again, you can see how beautifully that drapes and how the light catches it when it is draping like that. Again, that would be beautiful for a very full gored skirt. But what we're going to be looking at today is calico fabric or some quilting fabric. And as I said at the beginning part of this, I actually bought some of this in the quilt department. So let's take a look at what the skirt would look like. Whoops, I forgot to show you this illustration too. This is what a full gored skirt would look like. So it's got lots and lots of draping in it. Okay, so now back to the calico. Here we go. So this is an example of where the seams are coming out of the dart, and then each panel is going to be a different color. And so here's where you get to have lots of fun with your stash and mix and match. Let's take a look at this colorful section that I have right here. So as I was going through my stash looking for fabric for this project, I saw this piece, and look at all the beautiful, beautiful colors that are in there. Well, you could pick up lots of different colors to create your contrasting panels. So the one that came to mind is this red. And I thought the red section would be beautiful down the center of the skirt, and then have some of this pattern on the side. And then I looked at it a little bit more and I thought, well, why didn't the pattern go down the center of the skirt? And then I could put red on one side, and I could put this turquoise on the other side. And if those colors are too bright for you, then maybe you'd like to incorporate this beige with that. Again, it's a beautiful color combination, and you can play with the designs of the fabrics and the different colors. What I'm actually going to use in this Design and Sew Along are the black tones and the black on white tones. So I've got 2 pieces of quilting cotton right here, and then I've got my black. And the black is going to be the interior panel. It's going to come right down the center. And then, so let's put that in the center right here. And then I'm going to put the large black and white print on one side and the small black and white print on the other side. Now, in addition to this, we're going to actually put a little bit of a pocket on this skirt. If you don't want it, that's absolutely fine, don't do it. But what I thought I would do is take some of this small black and white print and make the pocket and put it on top of the large black and white print. So you can see that just by going through my fabric stash, I came up with alternatives, and it was a hard choice of what I was going to do with you or for you in this design and sew along. But I think I'm going to stick with the black and white. I invite you all to go check out your fabric stash, see what you've got, pull your pieces together, and in the next lesson, we're actually going to start drawing off the skirt pattern and all the required pieces that you're going to need. So please follow along, join me, and have fun in this design and sew along. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you have, I invite you to join the Sherpa Designs community if you haven't already. And you can do that in 3 easy steps. Number 1, make sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is SureFit Designs. Secondly, make sure to sign up for our newsletter list. And you can do that by going to surefitdesigns.com. And there are free gifts to get you started. And if you happen to be a Facebook fan, we do have a private group. Go to facebook.com/groups/SureFitDesigns. Request to join. Make sure you answer the 3 questions and I'll approve you. Thanks so much for watching.